Hello, my continuously creative quilting friends. Thank you for joining me. I hope you saw my announcement that I was going to be here at 1 o'clock doing a Facebook Live. It's been a while since I've been on here to do a live video, and I hope that all of you have been just quilting away, making your quilt tops. Well, actually, I know a lot of you have because I've been really busy with the long arm quilting lately, and I'm so excited to be helping everybody out, getting their quilt tops done. I know a lot of people already have brought me quilts, and they're like, I'm gonna have this ready for Christmas. I think a lot of people are gonna get quilts for Christmas this year. Yay, yay for quilting. But I have some really exciting news that I want to share with you guys because one of the things people will call me and say, I have a quilt that I want to bring to you, but I have to go get the quilt back for it. Or I'm waiting, I ordered it online and I'm waiting for them to send it to me. And so once we get all of these beautiful quilt tops pieced together, we have to go find the right thing to put on the back. So I'm here today to give you a few tips on picking out quilt backings and also give you some really exciting news that I am now going to be carrying some quilt back fabrics here in my studio. So if you get your quilt tops done and you don't have a back, please consider maybe Donna has something that we can use to put on the back of my quilt. I'm planning on having pretty neutral or basic colors, basic fabrics that would look good on almost any kind of quilts and stuff. So this is what I have in stock so far. This is my exciting news here. I am showing you. These are the 3 quilt backs. Oh, they are heavy too, let me tell you. So I have so far in stock a very nice beige color, and it has just a really nice simple little fern design on it. Just kind of an ecru beige, very basic, could really go on a lot of different quilt tops and blend really well. So this I think is going to be a really good popular one. Then I have a really fun black one for the darker colored quilts that could be for kids quilts, guy quilts, or even just a fun whimsical quilt. Again, just kind of a basic color so that it can go with a lot of different things. So keep that in mind when you're thinking about picking out a quilt back for your once it's ready and you're going to be bringing it to me to be quilted. Maybe you won't have to put your mask on and go to a store and pick it up. You can just put your mask on and come over here where you're going to be coming to drop your quilt off anyway and pick out a quilt back. This is one of my favorite ones that I got so far. And this is a nice navy with a paisley print on it that I think will go with a lot of things as well. I have 2 others on order, a gray, a light gray color that hasn't come in yet. And then in December, I'm getting a really fun kind of multicolor one. I'll show you a picture of that because it doesn't even come out yet till December. So excited about that one. Let me find it for you. These fabrics are from Wyndham, and it's a really nice quality quilting cotton fabric. This is the one kind of multicolor one that's going to be shipping out here to me in December. So that one will be available soon as well because it'll be December before we know it, right? Already enjoying those way cooler mornings already. I don't know about you, but it feels good. Okay, so let's talk now a few tips about quilt backs because I also want this to be educational and for you to learn some fun things too. Why would you want to pick a wide back fabric to go on the back of your quilt? Well, there's a lot of really good reasons. Because the first thing that I can think of is because you're going to save money and save time, which they say time is money. So definitely save money because this fabric comes, here's a little piece that I took off of it. This comes in 108-inch wide fabric. So pretty much going to cover any quilt top you're going to make. I have quilted a few quilts that are over 108 inches wide. In that case, then you're still going to have to piece it. But for the majority of your quilts, this is going to be ample, wide enough to cover pretty much the back of any quilt. The reason that I say it saves time is because you don't have to then take your, two pieces, 2 or 3 pieces that you bought for your back and get them all squared up and sew them together. That's already all one piece of fabric. So that saves the time of having to piece your back. And it also saves money because if you have to buy, say you need 2 yard, your quilt is 2 yards long and it's 2 yards wide. Well, you don't have enough width in a 2 yard piece of fabric. So you have to buy, now you have to buy 4 yards of fabric to cover your back. So twice as much. At say about $12 a yard for good quilting fabric, you're paying $48. This fabric at 108 inches wide is only $16.40 a yard. So it's only $4 more and you get twice, 3 times the width, really. So it's definitely a way more economical way to get the fabric for your back of your quilt as well. Now, the thing that you do need to know though about these quilt backs, because you can see on this bolt here how the fabric is folded 4 times. So there's 4 layers to get that 108 inches wide. Well, when they roll these fabrics and they fold them and they get them rolled onto the bolt, they don't always get folded straight. So you can see here down at the bottom where these selvages don't come together. So we know this is not rolled onto the bolt straight. But when I go to, if you just cut off your 2 yards that you need, and I go to load that onto the machine and it's not cut straight, now you've got a piece of fabric that's like this. And as I roll that onto the frame, you're going to end up with puckers and stuff. So very important, no matter where, if you do buy a wide back, no matter where you get that wide back from, you have to make sure that it's square before we load it onto the machine. So how do you do that? That's what you are asking, I know. So the best way to do that is to have the quilt shop or me or whoever you're going to get your wide back from tear the fabric instead of cutting it. Instead of just roll, like, you go to Joann's and they roll it out and they just take their scissors and cut it. You're going to have really wonky edges. So I know, like at Joann's, they will not tear your fabric for you. So in that case, or any quilt shop, if you go somewhere and then they won't tear this wide back fabric for you, then you need to make sure that you buy at least an extra 1/4 yard, because then once you get it home, you are going to have to square that up and you're going to lose probably, like when I tore this initial piece off of here, this is how wide at one end it was, and this is how narrow it was at the other end. Actually, it was even a little narrower than that because I cut a piece of this off. So you can see as you go down here how it gets wider and narrow. So you can see you're going to lose a good 3 or 4 inches off of each side. So you have to make sure that you buy a good extra 1/4 yard if the quilt shop or the store that you buy the wide back from is going to cut it instead of rip it. If you're going to rip it, then you're good. I just need the extra 3 or 4 inches bigger than your quilt top and you're good to go. So there's a lot of wide back fabrics out there nowadays. It's a lot more convenient. Super convenient, like I said, if you buy it from me, because it's going to save you a trip to the store. And the other thing that this wide fabric is really good for is for borders on quilts. So say, you buy the 108-inch wide backing, but your quilt's only 80 inches wide and you've got this extra 28 inches at the end. What are you going to do with it? It's really good for borders. So a nice extra use for this wide fabric as well. And then one other thing I want to touch on. The reason also why the wide back is better than piecing fabric together for your back is because when you piece your backing, of course, you're going to have a seam. And that is going to decrease the longevity of the back of your quilt, because the seam is where a lot of the stress of wear and tear, when you wash it, when you're using the quilt, when you're moving around, flipping it around to make the bed, that wear and tear is going to go across the seam. So by using a wide back fabric, you've eliminated that extra wear and tear of the seam area, therefore prolonging the longevity of your quilt, especially the back of your quilt. So those are my tips for picking out your wide back fabrics, and I really hope that if you bring your quilts to me to be quilted, that you will consider purchasing the back fabric for your quilt as well. I'm going to get, as this goes on and I am able to, I'm going to buy more bolts and have more choices. If there's anything that you think might make a good back fabric type thing, like say, oh, get something that has texture, get something that has whatever. If you have some ideas for that, send me a note for it or put a note in the link down here, and we'll look into getting something that you think would work. So anyway, I hope you guys have a great rest of your Thursday and a fun weekend coming up here, and just really enjoy and have fun quilting. And remember, always be continuously creative. Bye, guys.